Welcome back everyone for AEL University League presented by Chatime. My name is Jartins and today I'm joined with another by Farfetched. How you doing today?
Pretty good, pretty good. Excited for 3 games of Rocket League. It's going to be some good series in here, I think.
Exactly right. We've got such a good few games ahead of us. So a lot of close matches and a lot of players that will be battling out to fight for that top 3 position to try and find themselves into the finals. Because one thing I found by tournaments like this is from the get-go, every win and every loss can really make an impact on that playoff run.
Oh yeah, so much so. I mean, I think that the format's kind of a bit interesting this year because normally it's 2 spots, you know? If you start dropping, pardon me, even like a 1 game early, you kind of find yourself struggling a little bit to catch back up to those top 2 spots. But this time, each group gets 3 teams through to the final stage, and I think that's extra exciting because it means that even though you're right, those early wins, those early losses are really impactful for how the season sort of shapes out. There is that opportunity to get through even if you had a bit of a slip up. But both of the teams we're going to be showing first of all, which we'll get to in a sec, I know, have already taken a loss or 2. So I think this first one's going to be especially exciting.
Exactly right. First up, we got UQ Black, 2-2 at the moment, currently sitting 7th, going up against UNSW Maccas run. I'm loving these names that are coming out from University League. It's always a good laugh, and I love it. But they're currently 3-1, sitting 4th place. We talk about 4th place. You need to try and get as many wins as possible, push into that top 3 to make it. Follow up, we have got UON Platinum Noms. I've had the pleasure of casting them plenty of times, and they'll be back on the channel. They're 3-1 at the moment, currently sitting 4th, and this is going to be a very exciting game because University of Sydney Milk Guzzlers are 3-0, currently sitting 3rd, so another really close matchup. And then going into the third one that we have today, UQU Purple, 3-0, currently sitting 4th, going up against UTS Eshays, 4-0. So the battle of the undefeated to see who will remain in that group undefeated and who will take their first L for the season. It's going to be very interesting.
Oh, fascinating series, all one and all. But yeah, this first game is what I'm kind of very interested in, because like I say, we talked about the fact that Maccas run, they have already taken 1 loss for themselves. And that's not an ideal situation to be in if you want to take that be in that top 3 position, as the top 3 teams currently are lossless. But their opponents, UQU Black, are 2-2 at the moment. But the thing is, there's so much kind of variance in these first few weeks about your scoreline. You know, just because you were sitting at 2-2, maybe you faced like some of the top teams and things like that. And again, in the previous seasons, I'd be like, both these teams, they're probably not going to make it. But given the fact that we have the top 3 teams continue through, if any of these, like whoever wins this does have a shot, you know, if they can knock off maybe USID or UON or someone like that, they actually have a real chance to then be contesting for one of those top 3 spots. So this is an important game. I think you lose this, you're going to be struggling a little bit. Obviously, you know, Maccas run have a bit more of a buffer being 3-1, but no matter what, I think this is a very valuable game to be trying to win. I don't like UQU's chances if they can't take the series here.
Exactly right. Going 2-2 and taking that 3rd loss for the season already, it's not going to be high hopes for them. But that being said, you're right. There is still plenty of room for upsets. Who have UQU Black versed? They might have had a few tough games leading up, but UNSW needing to get these few wins to get on the board, because we know that in the past University League, there's always been those 1 or 2 teams in every pool that have sat undefeated or have been the real front runners for the season. So we know that every win can really make that run just easier on yourselves and looking really good into the future. Plus, we also know the better that you are placed, the easier your playoff run seeding wise can usually end up. So big games all round that we're going to be showing tonight. And I just want to give a quick, also everyone that makes this possible, the quick shout out to the sponsors: Chatime, the bubble tea partner; AOC Monitors; Instant Ready Noodles by Indomie; and Rig Headsets. So we got some great games here. Very looking forward to getting into it. Just waiting for a few players to join the lobby, and going to be very interesting. As I said, we got this first one. Close games. I don't know how we're going to sway because I haven't really seen either of these teams in action, but 7th v 4th, we have seen in the past this can be usually quite a big deficit. But that being said, it's still early in the season and we still might be in for a really nice best of 5 series.
Yeah, I have seen them on the stream before I got to cast. A few of these teams we're going to be seeing tonight, actually. And it was the Rusketeers, I think, versus Maccas run. I believe we saw 1 week. I'm trying to remember exactly what the result of that was. I thought it was a pretty clean victory by the side of Maccas run. They're a really good team. Well, they're not quite at that top level, right? We've sort of got this extra echelon, this kind of extra branch of teams who are blocking out the sun for a lot of the others, who are just so good, so fantastic, coming into this league, and the level is just great. They're not quite at that point, but they definitely looked quite strong in that series. So I'm interested to see. I think they might be the favorites for me, of course. That's also a bit results-based analysis. But with the teams both here, I think we might be able to see those two go head-to-head.
Exactly right. Players are joining the lobby. We're going to be getting underway in this best of 5 series. And I said, very interesting to see UQU. They're kind of on that start of their season where they need to start getting a few more wins on the board. You can't get into that heavy loss deficit. So can they take it up against UNSW, or will they continue to go down their way on the leaderboard as we start off game number 1? A good kickoff. Tenasty trying to get something going for the offense, but will actually get bumped out. Open net, but good save by Mr. to clear it downfield.
Yeah, okay. Tenasty, kind of holding back, playing that more defensive position. A good midfield play from Anatar. I'm trying to think if I can remember exactly how the playstyle came through from UNSW here. Both these teams, though, looking like they're holding pretty solid right at the second, you know? Like, they're kind of not giving up too much. That's not what we see in these first few game 1s. Tenasty, is Tenasty, sorry. I had to read that about 4 times to get it. It's kind of doing a really good job just blocking out this entire midfield, kind of playing almost 1v3 there. Anatar has managed to find a good break and is going to put it in front of the goals. But yeah, I like the fact that UQU don't have the ball down their defensive end for any longer than they need. You know, they are so quick on those clears, and I'm really liking that as a start, especially in this first game.
Yeah, exactly right. Heavy hits have been the story so far, just trying to get that quick turnaround as a shot opportunity. Save coming out, but couldn't quite get there. And Anatar will be the first one to get on the board.
Maybe a little bit slow on the maybe slow on the rotates, maybe a little bit too far forward. I think that's probably it. 3 people playing on that kind of midfield line. Maybe a few too many, but yeah, okay. So I said that the ball's not down the defensive end for very long, but it seems like it doesn't take very long for UNSW to find a quick goal. Anatar setting it up high. Snawa going to try and push that one in. 4 players all committed to that attack, and it just kind of ends up in no man's land.
Yeah, exactly right. With a good clear coming out in midfield, doing a really good job at, you're right, quickly turning that ball around. They don't want to be on defense any longer. Those quick counterattacks are very useful, especially in this university league where we do find that those third players are cheating up just that little bit too much. Maybe communication not quite there as we still are early into the season, but good challenge by Tenasty. Seems to be the front runner for those long clears downfield. Gets another one on net, but Mohammed with a good save will clear that one to the corner. Now, Anatar back on trying to get that second goal. Good 50 by Tenasty again, and seems to be, as said, the one really trying to build the offense and get something happening for their team.
Yeah, I really like the fact that UNSW on the flip side are actually controlling space a bit better. You know, we saw that 1 goal come from UQU kind of all holding that same area, which means you beat 1, you beat 3, essentially, just because you don't have that staggered defense. And Tenasty, once again, making a very nice save. But yeah, it's a bit of a breakaway from Mr. X, but the fact that they got so many rotations back from UNSW means they put enough pressure that goal didn't quite come through. Tenasty trying to flip the sides of the field and play aggressive on that attack as well, but didn't quite work out that time.
Yeah, very good offense there. Mr. actually beating out all 3 players in the midfield, but just couldn't quite get that final shot on net. But very good attempt moving forward as Anatar, yet again, getting past a few defenders on the way down to offense, but just still can't seem to maintain a good pressure. Just backing off a little bit too far, not really maintaining, as it just seems to be going from side to side here, and maybe the rotation is just not as clean. All the players still warming up. It is the first game, so we always give a little bit of slack to the rotations and that, but still some very nice offenses coming out. Tenasty actually going off the sideboard to Danka, but couldn't quite make contact with that one, and the ball will be played to the corner.
Yeah, a couple of players still pulling up here. I mean, it does mean they've committed very heavily for this attack, but the fact they're getting aggressive, getting contesting, yeah, they're contesting the play continuously, and they're not putting too many players in one spot, not letting themselves be too grouped up in that play. I like the fact that that kind of turned around a bit from UQU. They take effectively a win off that 50-50 contest. 2 players here able to run the ball up together. Tenasty puts it in a pretty good position, but a very, very good defensive effort to keep that there. Maybe a little bit scrambly, but at the end of the day, it is exactly what it needs. Muhammad Ali sets up an attacking play for UNSW.
Yeah, and still 1-0, that first goal that we've seen to be the only one in the game so far, and I think that's more down to the offenses. Just the teams just aren't getting that really threatening offense, that threatening shot into the back of the net so far, just constantly playing to the back ball, playing to the corner. So need to start working on that offense, try and take your extra time, get those few shots on target, as that seems to be kind of the problem both teams are having so far. But that being said, UNSW, they've got the one on the board. They don't really need that any further goal. If they can just maintain this for another 50 seconds, they will find themselves taking game number 1. But Mr. Up nice and early, putting that one will be on the backboard and out. Tinasty there to follow it up, but just off target. Couldn't quite get there. And Sana will play that downfield.
Yeah, but it's they got the sort of setup right. You know, it's just a matter of getting the execution in the second part. Was a bit of a dangerous position, but a little wide of a goal. And yeah, the fact that they were able to put the ball more or less in the right spot, Anatar doesn't quite find that at an awkward angle, was good. That's a good sign, right? They still have 22 seconds to play with. They have 1 goal to take it to overtime. The ball's in a very neutral position, but Tenacity not being able to go for that one, probably didn't have the time, didn't have the ability to get to that closely and contest it. So setting it back up for the rotation, but 9 seconds left. You have to equalize this one if you want to take the first game. But again, like you said, it is the first game here for UQU. And they're still fighting for it, though. Ball goes up high. Tenacity is just going to pass it off. It's going to go to Muhammad Ali, and that should be the end of the play. Should, I say, as it gets grounded. And yeah, UNSW take that first game. It felt pretty controlled and pretty comfortable for them, even though UQU did get a few flaring, quick-fire attacking attempts off.
Yeah, UQU definitely had their few opportunities, and I really think moving forward, once they warm up a little bit, they'll start to be a little bit more threatening with those final shots. But that being said, UNSW, they're doing very well, and they're playing smart considering that they had the 1 goal. All they were doing in that final minute was deep rotating, making sure they're not committing too far up the field, and just letting UQ panic hit the ball back to them, having a free clear and hitting it straight back onto their net. UNSW, playing a very smart final game there with that 1 goal lead, knowing that's all you need in Rocket League. You don't need to go flashy, you don't need to win by 3-4 goals. Just get that 1 lead, get into the solid rotation that works for your team, and hopefully if they can continue that kind of mindset and that kind of strategy going forward, definitely going to be on the upside here.
Yeah, and again, UQ was still kind of fighting, they were still kind of keeping the contest going, and I'm always a little bit worried when people talk about stuff like that, where they're like, well, we've got a 1 goal lead, we can kind of sit here and hold it, because if you do get into that kind of mentality, sometimes your opponent gets 1 like miracle goal or some sort of very fortunate bounce, or you know, something like that, and it can disrupt the whole game plan. But yeah, you know, the fact that UNSW kept the pressure on, it wasn't like they weren't still applying pressure there. Muhammad Ali gets a bit of a spoil, actually dispossesses the ball fantastically, plays it off the defender, and a great opening once again for UNSW. I mean, maybe a bit of a messy sort of clear there, but
yeah, exactly right. Just playing to the backboard, but, you know, made it going to the back of the net. The fundamentals coming out there from Muhammad. So very nice play, getting that first goal on the ball, which, as we saw last time, they're very comfortable in this position. They've got the goal lead. They can let the game come to them and really force UQ to play at their pace, which is what they're doing really well. And look, I do agree the 1 goal lead can also be extremely stressful, because we all know about Rocket League. It is a game where the ball isn't over until it touches the ground. There is 0-second goal capabilities, so never what you want. You always want that security goal, but that being said, UNSW, they're doing a really good job at just maintaining that 1 goal lead and just playing really comfortable in this scenario.
yeah, they feel like they are the stronger team in terms of all the sort of things you highlighted before, some of those rotations, some of those abilities to get those sort of reliable, that reliable positioning on the ball as well. And if they're comfortable in that, they may as well use that to their strength. Ball goes just above the goal. Could waterfall down from Snawa. Sort of does, but not quite to any of their buddies. Maybe I should say. But Antar wants another attempt. Possibly coming off Muhammad Ali. Goes above goal again, but it's just going to be cleared out by Tenacity.
Yeah, UQ doing a really good job on this defensive end. They're getting those clears. They're playing to ball the corner, knowing that the corner is one of the safest parts in Rocket League. Not really... The ball, can't really be scored from that situation, but it can't also be scored for you as well. You need to start to get those clears. You need to start to work the ball up the field as a team and try and maintain that possession in the offensive end. And they might actually look to start that now, but a good 50 over, and Muhammad will be the first one to this, playing it around. Good 50 out of the midfield. Anatar, first one up to this one, looking to get that follow-up touches. We've seen UNSW like to use that backboard a lot, and UQU just haven't really got the defense to counteract it so far.
Yeah, I'd agree with that. I mean, they haven't really had... Like, often we talk about defenses as how well you can get those big slamming clears down the other side of the field consistently, right? It's like those are the 2 points. Really good possession by Snawa. Actually passed it straight off to Anatar. That was a brilliant little play. Aren't able to hold on to it right yet, so Danker's going to be able to get it. But again, they aren't able to clear it out of the defense. But as you said, there it is, Muhammad Ali just flying through and finds a second for the game. But exactly, you were exactly right with that point, you know. There's just not the ability to find that comfort on defense if they're playing it off the backboard. And if they're playing some of these passing plays as well, that kind of helps set it up.
Yeah, and as you said with those long booming clears, they need to be downfield, they need to be high, and they need to be towards the corners. Because if you get those mid touches, like we just saw there into the midfield, you're inviting the other team to try and get that open net. And now Tenacity getting a nice shot after one, but actually ended up being a pass for Mister, who puts that one away. First goal on the board here and looking to make the comeback.
They like backspan that off the top goalpost, so it kind of just like slowed down as it dropped, which meant that Mist had so much time and the goal was been so hard to clear if they, you know, if there even was someone ready for that kickoff goal, which of course, I mean, you should be, but it's so hard to be in that position. Muhammad Ali almost just makes a solo run to kind of answer that one, but it doesn't quite work out. It's going to be a bit of a faster clear, but again, that was just taking the momentum of the attack around. A couple of demos here, and it's getting a bit scrappy on this attack, but UQU might have an opening.
Yeah, scrappy is what some teams kind of thrive in, playing that kind of play style. Maybe UQU is what they're going to look to start doing, get aggressive, get physical on the defensive end, try and clear up the midfield and clear up the net, but to no avail that time, and Danker will be there to clear the ball downfield. Looking at the follow-up touch, but Muhammad actually being really good with these challenges, kind of one of the faster players on the pitch right now, as I say that. Another one going through the back of the net.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, that was... Tenacity, I don't think quite expected that much pressure. Muhammad Ali was the one jumping up to set that play up, you know, was the one pushing the ball forward. So I don't think you expect a player to be able to come down, hit the ground that fast, and have the quick turn. That was kind of just the exact right play. I don't know if I wasn't a defender, I wouldn't quite be ready for that. But these players are definitely a step above me in terms of gameplay, as Mr. X is going to set this one up, possibly for another attack. But again, gets denied by the midfield pressure of UNSW.
And Snawa had a good opportunity there. Actually gets the bump. Will clear up some space for Tenacity, who has been really good when left alone on the ball, but a good early challenge. Will send that one flying into the corner. A missed touch actually phased out Dunker, and now they will be sent the other way. Muhammad now on the ball. What can they do with it this time? Just off target, can't quite follow, but we talk about the 1-goal lead. Now we're talking about the 2-goal lead. All the time in the world to just play their game that they did in that first one. Just buy out time, make sure you're full on resources, and really just pressuring the other team to throw away possession like they were in the first game. So this is where they strive right now. So it's all on UQU to try and keep applying that pressure, maybe start to go for some of those demos, because it just seems like they're not getting space to put that final shot on net.
Not quite, but they also need to be able to find that space, you know, they need to be able to build it from something. Things like that where you don't quite have the 1-2 follow-up. I mean, okay, it did actually come through from Tenacity again, but they're not quite... I don't know, maybe they're not quite committing. Maybe they're not quite able to find these redirections. There's just something missing, one piece missing from this attack. And UNSW, of course, are a very, very hard team to break through that defensive line of. They're doing exactly what they need to win this game. But maybe UQ have to try something a bit different. Maybe go for the demos, go aggressive, overcommit on these attacks a little bit more, and don't be so afraid of getting caught in the rotations. 2 seconds left, and it's going to be another one by Anatar just on the line, just absolutely rolling along that goal line.
I'm interested to see this one because I don't understand that angle that has just happened. What? Almost a negative angle coming out, but manages to put that one away just to get a final goal in the final seconds of the game. But I had to look at the replay there again because I'm trying to work out the angles in my head. Weren't quite lining up, but doesn't matter. They do take game at number 2. They're looking for the clean sweep moving into game 3.
Yeah, and I mean, that angle comes down to the fact that the goalposts are the most mysterious creatures in any video game ever. Like, you've got all these weird fake creatures in the fantasy games, but nothing will ever be as mysterious as the goalpost in Rocket League. I don't know how they work. They seem to make no sense. They are, sometimes they are very, very generous deities. Sometimes they can be quite harsh ones, but that's the nature of Rocket League, right? That's kind of how it works, and if you can master the awkward physics of them, it's a bit of an advantage in your favor.
Exactly right. If you're shooting it on net and you aim for those crossbars, it's just a matter of fact. You gotta roll the dice. You gotta flip a coin to see whether it will find its way into the back of the net, or will you be left with a shot on net and no goal to follow up. But that being said, they're looking for a few more goals here. UNSW, they're doing really well, getting that first goal on the board and just immediately having the pressure, having the control of the game. UQU, if they can look to start playing aggressive, get that first goal, try and force UNSW on the back foot, they might find themselves with a different result in this game.
Yeah, that's actually a really good point. If they can find that early opening, you know, what does UNSW? I mean, they've shown they can score. Another attempt from Muhammad Ali goes straight into that top right corner with what I felt like was a fair bit of speed behind it. Only 52 kilometers an hour, never mind. I was too busy watching the defense trying to set up that I didn't quite see how that one went. Oh no, that's right, of course. The shot was much faster, but because the defender managed to get to it. But once again, you know, that's just an awkward position to try and defend from. It's one of the hardest spots if you're on the ground, and a decent attempt from the UQ defense that time, and I feel like they're getting more aggressive like you wanted them, but just not quite enough, maybe.
Yeah, exactly right, but the speed from Muhammad was the best part there. Just if you don't know about the Batmobile, you don't know about flat cars in Rocket League, you just seem to have a power multiplier on your car, and hitting the perfect corner of that front bumper to try and put that one in at great speeds. And that's just what Muhammad is doing really well in this game, outpacing the other team, playing at a higher speed. Every shot has a bit of kick behind it, as another one almost finding its way crossbar down, but is going to find its way missing. But really nice opportunity then from Muhammad. Now Mr. looking for the counter attack, trying to keep the ball close, force a 50 out in the midfield. It is in the goal circle, but Tenasti couldn't quite put that one away, and now Snawa doing a really good job keeping the ball close, maintaining possession, and that possession game has done really well for UNSW so far.
I actually really like the way UQU are playing in this one. They're kind of keeping the attack up. They're rotating through their players. They're not over-committing to each individual play, but they are constantly contesting. They're making sure that the side of UNSW doesn't have too much space to work with. Muhammad Ali eventually breaks the attack, but it takes them a fair bit of effort, and they are the ones this time not to get that big, resounding, strong clear. Anatar does win that 50. It's going to be Snawa who sets the ball up. She gets the gentle tire touch to Muhammad Ali, but a great defensive effort from Danka to keep this ball going, and now they have a bit of a run. It's 1v1 against Anatar for now. They beat that out, but they haven't got enough time for Snawa to come back for a rotate, and a really good defensive effort from UNSW, but UQU looking like a bit of a different team here. Exactly
right, and they're playing really well, but just the composure from UNSW there, just not really forcing out a touch, saying, you know what, do your best. Try and flick, try and put it in top net. We're going to just wait, maintain that possession, keep it close, and just an easy clear there. So definitely playing more of a composed, but it's not composed enough. Mister finding the gap there, putting that one away to tie it up.
Fantastic setup. Have a look at how Tenasti managed to really mess with Snawa's positioning there, and even though they threw two cars back off the rotate, Muhammad Ali was, I think, trying to cover for a different angle, and the other player was Anatar, was coming in for a rotate off the boost. So Mister just puts it in the exact right spot, and this is an equal game. This is the first time I think we've had a tied game and had a team score, I guess, because every game is a tied game at the beginning. But they're looking a little bit scrappy in defense, maybe?
Yeah, a little bit, but I think they're kind of thriving off that right now, just really trying to cause chaos. They're really playing off UNSW's mistakes rather than their own offensive pressure. They're trying to put shot after shot on net, force an awkward touch out into the midfield, and then capitalize by booming that on target. So definitely a different kind of play style coming out, whereas you see UNSW, they're trying to make their own offense. They're trying to go for quick counterattacks, pass plays off the backboard, passes as well. So the two kind of play styles coming out, but the scrappiness from UQU really seems to be thriving if they can kind of keep this up, keep the solid rotations in the midfield, try and avoid expressing, and just really apply that pressure. But Sanawa applying good pressure there to beat out, and now Dunker is left to try and make it clear. Muhammad there to follow it up, but ping pong action has missed his turn to now on the ball. Sanawa sending that downfield. One touch offenses here and a 50 in midfield. Now might leave a shot opportunity on target, but just off and will be played to the corner.
Yeah, I mean, it's, like you said, it's an awkward position to play from. Danka managed to get in the right spot. The pass, well, the clear attempt goes out, but it isn't quite enough. Actually, it is a very good clear attempt. Muhammad Ali puts it down to two players. They double commit for that attack, so there's going to be a shutdown now. So that the Tenacity can get to this one before it hits the goal. Does do a very good job of that rotation back, and you're right, if you're constantly in your opponent's space, it's very hard for them to engineer a big counterattack. So I was going to try and do it, but Danka holding on carefully and just being able to get in the right position for that ball. Comes down to Mr. X getting clear, and they don't quite have the speed to rotate up to punish the defensive rotation from Nawa, who is able to get back in time. We've reset the play just a little bit here.
Exactly right. One-touch offenses have been the way that UQ are trying to get on the offensive end. It's not quite working as of yet, but it is forcing out a few awkward touches. Mohammed there to follow it up. Danka downfield, trying to stay nice and close to this one. But Anatar doing a really good job playing around the defense rather than trying to put it on net, trying to put it in a dangerous position, just playing around, forcing out a defender to make a mistake, and then trying to capitalize on every touch as it is actually awkward out into the midfield. No one quite up for it. Danka now up, trying to get this center, but Sanawa with a good clear over to Tenasti downfield. And Muhammad now with the clear, and just very awkward kind of gameplay here. Just as I said, just a lot of one touches. Seems like both teams have really gotten to a panicky kind of state with this being so close, and it's really good for UQU because they're forcing out that composure from UNSW and really forcing them to play a playstyle they don't want to play.
Exactly, and if that's something they can do, of course, that can be an advantage for UQU. I think we've talked about it in cast in the past, where if your opponent is better, you know, in air quotes, like more skilled, has a lot of those, is able to tick a lot of those boxes which you want from a Rocket League team in terms of what makes someone good or what makes a team good, then yeah, get awkward, take them off their comfort, just make the game chaotic, and you can possibly find a way to eke out an advantage. Muhammad Ali this time staying very disciplined there as the ball is centered a little bit, but this time more defensive play coming from UQ. They might have given a bit too much space to UNSW, but we'll have to see how that goes.
Yeah, and Danka with a good beat out in the midfield, trying to put this one into a center, but couldn't quite 50 out awkwardly. A demo coming out in midfield, but Muhammad up nice and early for that one, showing that speed yet again, forcing out an awkward save, but Tenasti is there for a quick follow-up here, looking for the 50 high into the midfield. Anatar up early, putting this one onto the backboard. All players are awkward. Muhammad is there, but shot just off, trying to keep the pressure alive as Anatar plays it back into the midfield. Snawa can't really get a good follow-up, and Muhammad just in an awkward position will give away possession there. And right now UQU just struggling to clear the ball out of the ram before Tenasti comes through and finally sends one the other way.
Yeah, they've given a bit too much space to UNSW, I think, right at the moment. Tenasti going to try and turn around. Mossby going to contest this. Not quite finding it. Muhammad Ali does just flick it backwards, beat Danka, but two players kind of all holding the same position. That wasn't ideal for UNSW, but they should be able to find a bit of a clearance off that. A soft touch from Snawa. Bounce it off the ground, pass it off to Anatar. A very good setup on that passing play. Anatar goes for the 1v2, beats out one, but just can't quite beat that second to Fester. A good pass off to Mr. X, who's trying to contest this, tries to smother it, but doesn't quite work out. And actually, Snawa's beaten out two already. Danka should have plenty of time to pass this ball off to the side, but again, just because the ball's in the corner doesn't mean you have successfully cleared it.
Exactly, and now they're looking for that follow-up, but just really struggling to get it past the defense. A shot opportunity. Mister makes an awkward back save with a good follow-up to clear that one out. Tenasti there for the follow-up, but gets demoed for their troubles, and now Muhammad there to send it the other way. Really nice kind of counter-attack opportunity there. Good opportunity to clear the ball, but just couldn't quite capitalize on the follow-up touches, and that just seems to be the problem for UQU, as they're finally clearing the ball out of their half, but they've got no follow-up, they've got no game plan after they get past that half, and ball just gets sent straight back onto their backboard or onto their net, as Mr. now with a good 50-50 in midfield. Tenasti there for the follow-up. Anatar in an awkward position here. Tenasti might be able to capitalize, but a good 50 sends it out to midfield.
And I'd like maybe a bit more confidence in their teammates, because there was a lot of situations where, like you said, there's been no follow-up, and it's not that they're not good enough, it's not they can't make it. As Muhammad Ali has another opportunity, it's just going to go straight to Mister. Where's the follow-up? It's not going to happen as Danka just pass it off the boards. But yeah, I'd like a little bit more confidence in the teammates, as Tenasti gets a good setup. I mean, it gets cleared out by Anatar, but they're kind of holding back up for each other. They're not committing big on these attacks like what got them to this overtime in the first place.
Exactly right, and as we saw, Duncan just did a really nice pass in field, but missed, actually choosing not to go for it rather than playing more defensive. But there was a miss in midfield, there was an open net, but just chose to play that safe option rather than play the in-the-face offense that they were playing previously. So both teams really seem to have gotten into their own shell here and just not playing as confident as we saw in the earlier by UQU. But Muhammad there trying to play fast yet again. Might have an opportunity here to beat Dunker, will be high. Anatai is up for this one, looking to put that shot on Dunker. What a boomer, and it's found its way into the right side of the net.
And if UQU are going to drop pressure, eventually UNSW were always going to find a shot like this. Even if it just took them a while, they knew how to control the field. And if you have enough control of the field, you will just inevitably get a goal like that. UNSW take that game. And if I'm counting correctly, that is a 3-0 for them. Really dominant win. Something which is nice to have when you are contesting the upper echelons of this group. And I think that there's still like a lot of work to do. They've still got a lot of other teams who are contesting them, who are kind of giving them a bit of a fight for that higher ranking. But at the end of the day, Maccas run, you know, they've put out a pretty good result in that game, and for some reason I can't see the result. I can't actually see the win-loss in this group. There we are. Yeah, Maccas run. That takes them to 4-1, which means again if they can take one win of any of the top teams who are currently undefeated, which means we don't really know who's the best out of them. That means that they really are just automatically put in that top 3 position. So that's feeling really good for them after a win like that.
Exactly right. You're sitting around that 5th, 4th, 3rd mark. Every 3-0 benefits you so much trying to get that percentage, because I really believe when it's top 3, you know that 3rd, 4th, and 5th, you're going to have a similar record. And it's all about every game that you can win, every point that you can get is very crucial leading into those final games to try and get you into that top 3. But that being said, we are going to go to a short break. We'll come back with UN Platinum Nums versus University of Sydney Milk Guzzlers. We'll be back in a second. Welcome back, everyone. We're back already. We were too keen to get started for the next game. The players were even more ready than us, ready to get into this lobby. And next up, we have got the UON Platinum Nums going up against University of Sydney Milk Guzzlers.
Yeah, Sydney unis are already sitting at 1-0 for this week, and I always love to keep track of that. You know, who's winning on state lines. But this one is a similar sort of stakes of the last series. We kind of talked a bit about how that was who is going to have the potential to contest for that third spot. But this is actually one team who's dropped a single game against a team who hasn't dropped one at all. Of course, Milk Guzzlers sitting at that 3-0 record right at the moment. We got to see their games against the Gong Gardeners, I think it was, a little while ago. For those of you who've watched every stream, and if you have, gold star to you. That's really impressive, actually. We've got a fair few streams going on, so we really appreciate it. But that was a really good showing for the Milk Guzzlers. They did a fantastic job, and they put up a really good result. Their opponents right here are the Platinum Nums, UON, who are sitting at 3-1 at the moment.
Yeah, exactly right. Without further ado, I reckon that we get the players in Evolves. We'll get straight to the pitch, but it is going to be very interesting because Platinum Noms, this might be your opportunity to get that third place. Winning this series, especially 3-0, might put you in that running to take that away. So very big series here with both players as we already get underway on the pitch here. Is Spoon with a nice touch down to a teammate. Actually, a very nice pass play to start us off here.
Yeah, and just to kind of touch a little bit more on stakes, because I'm obsessed with brackets, as people who are watching probably can already tell, actually. Big attempt by Zinvola. Maybe we see something there, but kind of held out for a little bit here. But yeah, there's only one other undefeated team in this group. Never mind, that's going to be almost a massive double. Johnny doesn't quite get to push that one in off the pass. But yeah, one other undefeated team in this group, and that is UNSW beat Lethal, who, if you remember, did a really, really good job last season.
just a little bit, you know, taking out the finals, you know. I don't like to touch because, you know, I talk about them a little bit too much, so I don't like to touch on them too much, but I would like to say I love the name change as well. Last season they were beating Lethal. This season they've beat Lethal. They've done what they set out to do, and now they're still sitting on top of the group. So that is a great thing. These players are going to be fighting for practically that second and third place, because right now they've got the undefeated team of UniSA in their group stage. So definitely a big match here, trying to get that win and really trying to take out the other team that's in contention for that top 3 spot.
Yeah, exactly. And while we're talking about names, Zinvola does have to clear that one out. It was a very, very important clear, I guess, having the attacker kind of contesting right on that point. Zinvola possibly has the ability to get across. Drago Blue doesn't quite get it though. So close. So close to that one. 2010 Toyota Yaris Sedan, another great name as the ball's in a really awkward position. And Spoon actually just finds it. That was really big play right across the field for UON. We're seeing very high-paced, quite a high-level Rocket League here, or at least reasonably high level, given the number of teams we have in the tournament. Yeah,
exactly right, and it's a great start from Spoon. We saw the great dish down pass there. We saw practically beating out all 3 defenders, just trying to outpace Spoon, doing a really good job there as Zinvola tries to answer straight back with a shot on net, but it will be saved aside by Johnny. And Drago Blue now on trying to turn around that defense, trying to get one back, has the opportunity, but just couldn't quite get there. Spoon there to send it back down the other way. Zinvola with an awkward touch leaves Johnny with a double touch opportunity, but just not enough boost to follow up. Great opportunities for both teams here, but no one able to capitalize.
Yeah, not quite. And that's a second opportunity, which UON have been able to put on, but not quite capitalize on, as you said, and that's a third. So realistically at the moment, the number of shots they're taking right now are really, really good from UON. They're keeping that ball pretty aggressively, even though USID have been able to kind of contest that play a little bit and be able to keep their attack on a bit. It just they haven't had quite the same opportunities they've created as UON here. And even still, you know, UON, I mean, the ball goes into their defense, into the defensive corner for USID, but they still are putting the pressure on. They're still locking down this midfield really fantastically.
Yeah, and it shows kind of a different pace that we have in this group going up against these two teams. As trying to get a good clear. Actually gets the beat out. Zinvola actually in an awkward position here, able to get a good clear down. And Johnny there to follow it up, playing no. Drago Blue actually cheating upfield, cheating out of net a little bit too much, clearing up the entire space for Spoon to come in and score.
And that's 2 for Spoon with a setup from, from a great setup from Johnny as well. Just puts the ball in exactly the right spot. And again, you know, the number of sort of attacking attempts, the number of shots right now are 7 to 4. Kind of highlighting that point, you said they need to find a way to kind of get out of their shell. We saw it as it was a bit of a problem for UQU in the last series we watched, but now it's going to flip on its head. But Drago Blue has another really good opportunity there. Zinvola puts in the right position. I think that was a little bit of a nudge onto Johnny. I didn't quite see if there's any contact made. 2010 Toyota Yaris sedan is going to have an opportunity, but Johnny just flicks it over the top. Yeah, they're going to be able to put it in from Spoon once again. Not quite going to happen. Again, they keep the attack on. That was 3 players jobbed up for that attack, I think, as it's going to be Zinvola's ball. And once again, got to try and break that midfield, which has been so strong for the side of UON.
Exactly right. The speed kind of really showing up here for the University of Sydney. And UON just, you're right, talking about what UQU just caught in their own shell, not really able to keep up that offensive pressure. Maybe look to start to do a few things that we saw in the previous game, which was start to play a little bit faster, a little bit more in-your-face type of Rocket League to get that goal on the board. But Toyota Yaris will be playing that one downfield, but met early by Johnny. Drago Blue with the down clear, and that it just seems to be all they're doing. They're just getting those one touches out of defense, not really able to follow it up, and University of Sydney hitting it straight back onto their own net.
Yeah, that's exactly it. They just can't kind of find anything else. And that is, again, I think it is a huge testament to control here. Spoon isn't quite going to put the ball in the right position. Just going to go across the goals with no one else to put it in. But again, faster to the ball is just UON. They're just there faster. They're there again, and that one comes off the crossbar, but this time the gods weren't as favorable. The gods of the crossbar just didn't quite want to smile on UON there. They said, you've already got 2 goals in this game. I reckon you can hold on from there. And it seems like they will be able to as the timer hits 4 seconds. And unless we see some big goal here and another quick kickoff, I didn't think it was going to happen. But maybe if Zinvola finds another play like that.
This is where you are shouting in your team comms saying winnable in Rocket League terms, as we all know. Clock keeps going till that ball touches 0, so it is definitely still doable, but with a kickoff like that, no one actually cheating on the UON Platinum side there, which is very awkward to see. You've got this kind of play, you need to outpace them, and no one's cheating up on the kickoff to try and really get a play happening to keep that ball up, keep that ball in the air, keep the game alive. So with that, UON actually will take game number 1 here as they look to move on.
Yep, and a pretty good game 1 as well. It looked like they were in control the entire time. It looked like they'd kind of just managed to control the field better. They managed to find what you said we're going to struggle with in that first game and exploit it and have answers for all of those things, even though I'd expect these teams to be relatively close in terms of their skill levels, especially with USID so far being undefeated. But maybe it's a styles matchup. Maybe it's something which UON have just kind of figured out. They've kind of made it click. You know, they know that what they are good at and what USID are bad at line up in a way which is very convenient for them. But still, at least, at bare minimum, 2 more games for USID to kind of adapt and to figure out what they're doing. Yaris Sedan has the ability to kind of pick this one up. But again, good tight passing play and good discipline from UON is going to at least keep the ball away from the goals a little bit.
Exactly right. And Zinvola trying to put one on target. Will be cleared downfield into the corner. And I love that placement because it's forcing out a very awkward touch. Almost finds its way into the back of the net, but can't quite. That corner placement is so good when trying to start that offensive pressure, as the corner in Rocket League are very hard to read. Almost as hard as the crossbar and the sidebars, but Drago Blue now will be trying to get that offensive happening. Has a few options in field, forces a good 50, but Spoon is going to be the first one out there. Just that pace yet again showing up from UON as they beat another play in the midfield.
They do, and I mean, they did win that one, but I'm kind of liking a bit more what I see from the side of USID here. And they might have been just an open goal, powered back off the rotation. Opportunistic goal, I guess we call it. Very good awareness from Zinvola to find the speed on that. Wasn't the fastest goal ever. I mean, some of that would have been worn off by the fact that I had been traveling for a bit, but the fact that they saw exactly where the side of UON were positioning, and the fact they wouldn't be able to get back for that one, USID take a lead, which would be very helpful in a series like this, given how well UN were able to control the play after this point. And that was a bit of an unfortunate whiff. Johnny going back for it, but it looks like UN maybe a little bit shaken after that play.
Yeah, just looking for a clear at this point. The awkward rotation's really coming out and the pressure mounting here. Johnny trying to put another one on target, but can't quite. And with that, they will be able to regain possession, regather a few resources, and trying to get this ball out. But the never-ending attempt here might leave Spoon with an open net. But what a save when Drago Blue. Johnny is there looking for the backboard read, finding a very awkward position. I don't even know what's going on in front of net now. Player after player missing. Just, I don't know how University of Sydney are able to keep alive. Another one put on target, but they're just getting to the places they need to in order to get the save.
Yeah, that's it. Maybe a few frays going over the crossbar. God, I'm sorry, we'll stop this bit, but I'm enjoying it too much. But yeah, it's sort of like whiffs are contagious, right? That's like the theory we've been going with for the last few weeks. And I think that when one player doesn't quite get the touch they want, the whole play just collapses for both sides, you know? As 2010 Toyota Yaris sedan is actually going to set this one up quite nicely. Drago Blue can't quite get past the defenders. So now it's going to be the playthrough midfield. A very good win on this contest. Going to have to beat out 2 more. Puts the ball in a very, very good spot. Doesn't quite get the pass back to the teammate, but a great attacking attempt from UN. They're going to get a demo and just try it again. And actually, yeah, they get a capitalization off that. So a great string of plays from UN. They're just going to total upside down for a sec in relief.
Yeah, look, shot after shot, and it just, touching on what you said, panic in Rocket League defense is a contagious thing. When one player panics and misses a shot or tries to rush it too much, everyone feels like they need to make up for it, then they start panicking, and it just forms a line of what seems to be just misfortune after misfortune on the defensive end until one player says, okay, slows down, controls, kind of takes that breath, which it just seems like for the University of Sydney, no one is quite doing when they get into that state, and it really takes a high skilled player to be able to notice when your defense has become very panicky and just control it back to what it should be. But that being said, UN Platinum Num's doing a really good job at noticing that and just continuing that pressure, not expressing, staying on the play, and they do get rewarded with a goal. And now playing the midfield here, looking for a second one to accompany the first one. Johnny up nice and early, will beat out the defender. Oh, absolute banger on top of net, but just couldn't quite place it.
Yeah, it was very close though, and they managed to win that resoundingly too. And you're right, it's sort of like, it's almost its own skill having that discipline and having that kind of, almost, I guess it's like to a point it's veterancy, but having a calm, collected player on your team who's able to make that call and able to keep everyone calm is so helpful in a game like this. A 2010 Toyota Yaris sedan picks up the backboard pass from Drago Blue to put themselves back 1 goal in the leads, and Vola setting up really, really nicely. This is a 1-2-3 play. I absolutely love it. And just everyone contributing to that play. Maybe it could have been an earlier shot, but it doesn't matter because they've confirmed it very nicely.
Exactly right, and it's perfect for that team play where instead of just hitting it into net, where you know there's going to be an easy save, hit it in an awkward spot on the backboard, force out as many defenders, and that's what they did so well there, getting that goal, getting that one on the ball. But it really does seem like the defensive errors are leading to majority of these goals. There's not really over-the-top pass plays or really nice counterattacks. It just seems to be either, you know, pushing up too far as third man or just really panicking in defense. It's more on both teams here to kind of clean up their defense, and it seems like whoever can do that the most will really excel in this series moving forward. And that being said, Spoon with a really nice pass in field. Both players up for it though, neither able to make contact, and Drago Blue will now be there to clear it downfield. And Gloss for Mo, I'm not going to say it correctly, I do heavily apologize, but with a nice clear downfield. And Spoon there to kind of maintain possession, keep the ball close, get a good clear out of midfield. Johnny up for it next. Both players just panicking. We're talking about those one-touch offenses yet again. I want to look to see either of these teams start to take some time on it, but it doesn't matter. One-pass offenses are all you need. Good pass in field. Johnny puts that one away.
Yeah, and I think that I want the demo. I always love seeing demo goals. When you're like tired, when things are close, you can't find an advantage. Just make someone explode. And yeah, I actually looked up the pronunciation and I still struggled with it, so I'm so sorry.
Yeah, it's never easy when you're a caster. Like it's trying to pronounce. We do apologize. We do try our best, but if we do get any names wrong, we do apologize in advance.
This is why I'm saying 2010 Toyota Yaris sedan all the time, because I know that one. I'm going to probably get it wrong anyway somehow, and Bola just doesn't quite find the clearance on that one. And there we are, just to rub salt in the wound, the very same player finds a fantastic goal by just putting so much pressure on the defense. And unfortunately, a bit of an own goal. But again, when you put the ball across the line like that, it's so hard to find the right angle on it, especially if it has a little bit of speed behind it.
Yeah, and especially what University of Sydney have been doing a lot. They've been cheating out further into net. They're kind of leaving that back post a bit earlier than they should be, which is causing awkward touches that we've seen. We've seen 2 goals from University of Sydney cause like that, where they've just cheated from back post to front post and put themselves in an awkward position to make the save. UON doing a really good job of kind of capitalizing on that, using the corner to really force the ball out into the midfield, knowing that's what University of Sydney are doing. And so far, a really good strategy that they've been working on so far. It has given them 2 games up in this series, and they are just 1 away from yet another clean sweep.
Yeah, they are. They're looking pretty good. Right at the moment, they are. I mean, that one wasn't quite as dominant as the first game, and clearly there are avenues for USyd to kind of come back through, but it still has to be happening. You know, if you are UON, you have so much more momentum, I suppose. I mean, that has been lost a little bit that second series, but given the fact that you have to only win 1 of the next 3 games, and you'll be putting yourself in a much, much, much better position to contest the top of this group, that's got to feel a lot better. It takes that pressure off, and it really puts it onto USyd. They've given a bit of an opening here. I think there was one player cheating up off that kick, and it's going to cost them a lot as Johnny finds a goal. Had a few attempts in the last few games and gets one pretty comfortably as well.
Great pressure from kickoff there, making sure everyone gets the resource, gets the boost, and can just straight away push up the field, apply that pressure. Good early goal here, and you're up 2 games in this series. You've got the first goal. Shoulders might be a little bit more relaxed now, but you've still got an entire game to kind of hold down that fort. As we said in the first series, that 1 goal is not always guaranteed, as any kind of goal, whether it's a 50, whether it's a really nice play, can tie up the game. But Zinvola looking to do that right here. Good beat out in midfield, but 50 to buy Johnny in net. And it will be very interesting because this is all on University of Sydney now, because not only have you're down having to pull off a reverse sweep, but we talk about those points, we talk about those games. You at least want to try and lose 3-2, get as many games as possible, because these 2 teams are going to be battling out for that top 3.
Yeah, absolutely. A bit of a miss there from the side of UNSW. They're yet to find a game in this. And I think the other advantage that converts to you, obviously, you know, points and the experience and all that is very helpful. But the other thing which being up in this series grants you is the fact that this game has been so close. And it's been those high pressure individual moments and things like that, and whoever's been able to keep calm. If you have 2 games in your back pocket you can play around with, then that means that it's so much easier to stay calm in those situations. You can just kind of be like, yeah, well, let's just go for it. Like, what do we got to lose, really? We're kind of already so far ahead that it's going to take them a while to come back. And I think that composure under stress, especially in a close, stressful potential series like this, is going to be so much of an advantage. UNSW aren't able to take that pass from Zinvola as they just play back, play defensive, because if they get scored on again, this game is going to be so much harder for them to come to win. And if they can't win that, they can't come back. But again, they just set up the play from UON so fantastically. Spoon pass off to Johnny, and Johnny just gets this tight little angle touch, and it's just going to be pushed back in. Almost didn't happen, but again, like I said, that comfortability when you have a lead, it's dramatic. It's a big effect.
Yeah, that push up from the third player there, which you're really overextending pushing up as that 3rd player, but having that confidence to say, no, I can easily score this, the speed to get to it, to put that one in, kind of pinch it in just to the top corner to put that one away. Really nice play. That 2-goal lead now coming up from UON, and this is a dangerous territory, from University of Sydney. They need to start pushing up. They need to start really over-aggressing and maybe playing a little bit more up the field. Start to put the pressure onto UON, because if you don't, University... the Platinum, are just going to take their time. They're just going to look for the clears, keep the ball close, keep the ball high, and maintain that possession, as that's all they need to do to take this one away. Spoon now trying to get a good 50 in midfield, but Drago Blue now up nice and early, playing this one onto the backboard. Johnny couldn't quite get there. There is an opportunity, but University of Sydney just kind of rushed that attack. I think they had more time than they realized.
Yeah, they saw an opportunity and they just wanted to take it because they figure they have to take every single shot they can. And you're right, get a little bit too fast. That one passed it off to Drago Blue. Might have been able to do something with it, but they're struggling to even keep it on the midfield mark, let them pass it over. Eventually, Yara Sedan does find that opening, but it just gets once again dispossessed by Johnny. And Johnny setting up what could be another big play for UON. But again, stuck in that midfield. And once again, you said they just can't find a big clearance out. They can't find another attacking opportunity, which again, which like we said, is kind of why they rushed that previous one.
Exactly right. Now a good pinch play coming out, but it might center it for Drago Blue. Good early challenge by Johnny, and a double commit in the midfield will give all the time on the ball here to UON as they look to put another one on target. Couldn't quite. Double commits like that are going to be very dangerous from University of Sydney as they just completely gave up the pressure they had. But a 50-50 going all the way down the field might find its way in. What a save from UON. University of Sydney just cannot catch a break, shot after shot, just off target or just saved at the last minute. And just over a minute to go here, 2 goals down. They need to start getting something on the board.
They really, really do. And I mean, in that situation there, we saw once again, USyd had an opportunity to go aggressive, to turn this attack around, to be the ones going on the offense, generally speaking, but they opted to pull back and to play defensive. Zinvola had the pass opportunity, but it didn't quite come through. Drago Blue trying to create another one. And maybe that's just either kind of feeling a bit crestfallen because of how these first 2 games go. Maybe it's just looking at the scoreline and feeling pressured, but realistically, USyd, if they don't go aggressive now, they've just done.
And another attack coming out here from UON. Good save there, but might center it over for Johnny. And a bump in midfield will slow down the defense. They can't quite get there, and they will get their 3rd goal on the board here. Very nice play, but UON, they're starting to overcommit. They're starting to get a little bit too in their own head, saying we've easily won this, we can have fun, we can just push up field, double commit, triple commit. But University of Sydney still aren't able to capitalize and really punish them for the way that they've been playing in the last 30 seconds.
Yeah, they just haven't at all. 30 seconds, and with 30 seconds left as well, with 3 goals to get, I don't know if they have necessarily enough time to answer. I mean, it's such a ridiculous ask to be able to get 1 goal every 10 seconds here. But with the way UON is kind of playing the ball, they're holding possession, they're trying to set up attacks to keep pressure on without overcommitting and overextending. I think that's it. I think that's the whole series done.
Yeah, it's pretty much GG's at this point. Just a formality playing this one out. It looks like UON will get the sweep, and Johnny trying to get one final one on the board, but can't quite. Shot on net yet again, crossbar, and just down. It's not like it was for the win, but that's got to be heartbreaking. Look, I think that's the perfect example of what we were talking about earlier. The gods of the crossbar and the sidebar just willing whether a shot will go in or not. That one couldn't quite find it. And UON take the clean sweep in that series and may even take 3rd place off the other team.
Yes, that's exactly it. And I hope that we do see a bit more action from this group because it's very exciting. You know, it's been a really intense group. I think we are jockeying for position all across the AEL. I mean, specifically in Rocket League is what I'm talking about, but I know in the other games as well. But that moment, that means that there is now only one team who is undefeated. And that kind of blows the group wide open. I know that's a phrase a lot of people hate, but really there is a lot more people. There are a lot more teams, I should say, contesting that top spot. 4 teams now are sitting with only 1 loss. Whereas, you know, that's like almost half the group, actually, to put it in reference. So this makes the opportunities for all of the other teams so much greater. And again, top 3 teams go through. That means assuming that no one can take out Uni SA, which isn't necessarily true. I expect there to be some kind of upset. Rarely do we see teams go completely undefeated, but it means that there are 2 spots still up for grabs. And yeah, that could have been the 2nd place match. It could have been the 3rd place match. Neither of these teams could make it through. We don't know. But it certainly gives UON a much better standing to try and contest.
Yeah, exactly. And you got to wonder, maybe all the other teams in the group were watching that series just then, praying for the Platinums to get that win and kind of force that really close difference in all the teams there. But we talk about undefeated teams, and next up we have 2 undefeated teams going head to head. The UQU Purple 3-0. Currently sitting 4th, going up against UTS Eshays 4-0. So the battle of the undefeated is coming up. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back shortly. Welcome back. We're here already. We're already to go. It's actually been a very smooth night, which, you know, as casters we always thank, but it always means we get action after action. And straight up here we got the UQU Purple going up against UTS Eshays for the Battle of the Undefeateds.
Yeah, and that's a big deal in this group because there are only 3 undefeated teams. Sorry, I'm going over. I know I'm listing all the context for the group, so you guys can look it up yourselves. But yeah, there's not a lot of undefeated teams in this group, so this is really playing for a first-second kind of differential. So I'm really excited to see how these teams go. It's always good seeing the top of the table clashes, especially earlier in the season. We get to set our expectations. We get to get a feeling for who's going to win, who's going to struggle right at the moment. And yeah, I kind of like the look of UQU Purple in this game. I don't know about you, but the teams look like they're gonna get into game pretty soon. So if you have any predictions, you know, shoot now. But if you want to stall out until you don't have to.
Well, you know, it's a win-win. But look, I got to give a shout out to my boy Flicky. I really think Flicky. They did really well last season. They made the playoffs. I think they made a top 6 run off the top of my head, but they are definitely a team to watch out for. I think they are missing a few of the players that they did have in that last season. A few team change-ups here, but definitely one of the teams to watch out for. I haven't got to see many of these teams on stream so far, but I'm very interested to see how we're going. Without further ado, let's let the players go out and let's see for ourselves just how close this undefeated matchup will go.
Yeah, exactly. I'm excited, and yeah, I think Flicky did a fantastic job. I mean, I think the entire that entire team looked really good. You know, like the Eshays looked fantastic on stream, but you know, it's easy, bro. I got some hope there. I think I've got some exciting things possibly to show on from the other side, so we'll have to see. We'll have to see how it goes, because again, we don't know. Both these teams undefeated. We haven't seen them be tested, really. McLaren possibly setting up to get that one was a little bit early to pull the trigger. Flicky has an opportunity, has to take the 1v1. Doesn't quite get it, but those 1v1s can favor defense when the ball is in an awkward position. But Knight might just capitalize off it, and there we are, opening the scoring for UTS very quickly. Yeah,
really easy shot coming out there from the midfield from Knight. McLaren just unable to get that good touch. We talk about when you want those clears, you want them long, you want them to the sidelines and downfield. That one just a little bit too infield. Knight's doing a really good job at capitalizing for that. And I do want to say, one of the players that they're actually missing is Cyrexel. And Cyrexel was a very crucial player in this team's success last season. Actually taking the break for this season, I do believe. I actually was in a game with Cyrexel earlier today. So Mr. Marcy now coming in, but Mr. Marcy definitely a really good player in their own right. So looking to fill out this team nicely. And that being said, UQU, kind of the new team coming out, looking to really show themselves here and even take down a team that made playoffs.
Yeah, and that's a very exciting prospect, quite frankly. But they do have to do it. You know, it's one thing to say, yes, they could do it. They actually have to sort of execute on that plan right at the moment, though. It's UTS up with that 1-0 advantage, and Knight's putting the pressure on once again. It really feels like, even though they've had the ball in their attacking half, fundamentally, UQU just haven't looked as controlled yet. But again, it's the first game. DZBra does get a good setup, and McLaren has another attempt, but it just gets shut down by the defense immediately. Playing back from the midfield, UQU having really good midfield control in this game so far, but they've kind of got to make something of it.
Yeah, and it just seems like they're holding on here, trying to get those touches. Almost a shot on target, but just off. No, but find the crossbar. McLaren on for the good infield pass. Couldn't quite convert on that either, and very nice offensive opportunity there. Now, Knight looking to get on the quick counter attack. Good early challenge by Lil Pete, and they are doing a really good job at holding that possession once they break out of their own defense. Solid rotations in the midfield, really looking to kind of suffocate a team back on the defensive end. And it looks like that strategy is going to work out for them so far. Just can't quite get that final shot, that final pass play in a threatening position on net. Miss Marcy with a really nice flick onto the backboard, but DZBra with a really nice clear.
Yeah, very nice clear, and they're kind of under a lot of pressure on the defense here, but holding out quite well. Knight has an opportunity, has to go 1-to-1 with the attacker, with the defender there, but he isn't quite able to get it just so close off the backboard, but couldn't quite put that further forward through. And a demo off screen, I like talking about demos, okay? It's cool, it's fun. It's like when you're low elo, you see them all the time, and they're like really obnoxious. So at the high level, you're like, yes, this is how you truly play Rocket League.
It takes a special kind of player to know when to go for those demos, and it's always one of the things that we've talked about countless times. It is the way to take it to a team that can classify as better individually, playing to a team that way and going for demos, really looking to disrupt, can almost trigger a team into giving up the ball, not playing how they want to play. And as soon as a team does that, you've got them in the palm of your hand. So I do love seeing those demo plays, and I do love seeing how that rotation can play and how teams can really build their offense around those kind of plays.
Yeah, DZ managed to make that one work. I was really worried about that ball going way too high, but yeah, it sort of worked out. But I mean, the demos have to come something, right? You can't just knock your opponent out and then be like, well, now I'm out of position, so no one wins from that situation. Knight gets contested very well by DZ. Preparing the move up, gets nudged by Knight a little bit, and that's enough to take that 50-50 and turn it into a pretty easy advantage. For the side of UTS, but still kind of very tense play in the middle of the field here. Actually, a storyline which I was really keen to keep up as DZ doesn't quite get to play. Little Pete might be able to find it, doesn't quite come to the corner. Knight with a fantastic job just pulling through those back rotations. Flicky actually set the ball up high as well, but a storyline which I was hoping to keep all throughout the night, but I completely forgot about it last game. Sydney Unis are they've played 2 games, sorry, they're 1-1 right at the moment. So this is for the pride of UTS right here. UTS could make it a 2-1 week for the Sydney University so far. But they have to beat UQU, and Knight just gets defensive touch. That's so awkward. That was so awkward off that side crossbar. They do manage to get away with it.
Yeah, it is always interesting to see how the unis, as I said, there's unis that have multiple teams in this run. And I always say this during the high school league that is played on this channel every Saturday, but it's always interested to see how those teams kind of work together, being in the different groups. Are they scrimming against each other? Are they, keeping up to date with how the other teams are going? I do love to see the in-house kind of banter between the two unis, but that being said, this has been a very close series, game, but UTS just able to get on that winning side, get that early goal, but it seems like that could really go either way. Both teams really taking it to each other there.
Yeah, it really was close. It was sort of literally 1 goal in it, right? But look at the shots. The shots from UQ came in quite quickly. There's, in the end, 7-4. UTS just managed to execute on that one play very, very well. And I really thought that some of those UQ attacking lines were going to work out. I thought they had it so many times, but it was just stalwart UTS defense kind of kept it out.
And it's a huge thing because I think this goes great with what we were talking about in that previous series of that panic mechanic on the defensive end, and that's something we're not seeing from UTS. Shot after shot is coming on their net, but they are staying composed, they're keeping it close, they're not diving out of position to try and go for a save that they're not going to get, and that is just a huge difference in that level of play. UTS just looking very composed on the defensive end here, regardless of the shots UQ put on their target, and they're doing a really good job of converting that onto offense. But a really nice infield pass play to Lil Pete, couldn't quite convert on that one. DZ Brad there to keep the pressure straight back on, but yet again, defense really showing up from UTS.
Fantastically showing up. The attack keeps coming through for UQU. They're able to keep firing these off, so string after string after string of attacking play, and I'm really liking that. I mean, that's eventually how you do score. I mean, yes, UTS held them off fantastically in that in the last game specifically, but they still have to win out an entire game. They have to find that first goal as well, because right at the moment, given how good the UTS pressure is, they don't seem like they're shaken from that last game. Of course, considering how much control they had, I'd be a bit disappointed if they were. But yeah, if UTS can stay strong and stay stable, they'll be in a good spot. But again, I want to see the clearances. I want to see their attacks coming through.
Exactly, and it's that quick change we talk about. Yes, they're really good defense, but they need to find a way to convert that into offense, whether it's keep the ball close, look to solo it out of your own half of the field, or look for those upfield pass plays. We're not seeing that. We're just seeing a constant defensive rotation. So we'll see if they can start to do that. We'll see what UQU are going to do to break this defense. Maybe talk about a few of those demos that we saw, or just keep the pressure alive. But Knight now on the defensive end, and miss in midfield, gave Knight an opportunity, but got a bit faked out there, so couldn't quite convert. Mr. Marcy there trying to keep the pressure alive. Lil Pete with the clear. Flicky right there to follow it up, beating out one defender into their half, and Knight with a good read off the corner, but couldn't quite get back to it. And this constant pressure that once they get into the offensive end, we're seeing that they have those good rotations. No one is expressing, and by that I mean no one's going for their own corner boosts. They're grabbing the pads in the midfield, they're grabbing the side boosts so they can quickly turn around and keep that pressure alive.
Yeah, and Mr. Mass pulls out. But you're exactly right. I mean, even in some of these plays where the balls are close, they want to get that extra little tiny bit of momentum and tempo on the ball. And I like the fact that, yeah, you're right, UTS has kind of turned around the play a little bit. They managed to get in the right position. DZ just didn't have the positioning or the boost to quite get that one. Massey puts in a really awkward position, and it's just perfect. Again, the 1-2-3, you talked about the third player having the confidence to get up and push that aggression. And if they don't, they're basically just forfeiting a goal. So really good discipline, awareness from UTS. This time, it's on the attack.
Exactly right, and that's a perfect linger from Knight. Went for the shot, got forced a good 50, decided to grab boost, stay on the backboard, give an option upfield to the team. And with that, a really nice pass play coming out to score that, and they've got that one goal. And we saw in the first game, the first goal may be the decider here as they're really kind of comfortable in this position. Knight with a good pass off the ceiling. Mr. Marcy couldn't quite get there in time. Flicky there for the good challenge over to Marcy on the backboard. Good 50, just can't quite get the read needed. And Knight keeping that pressure alive, not giving any time on the ball here for UQU to clear the ball. But a good infield pass. Little Pete over to DZ, bro, who places it perfectly in the top right corner.
A couple of really fantastic passes. The second, Flicky was unfortunate enough to give up that play to their opponents. There was no chance from that point on that anyone on the side of UTS was getting that ball back. I love that from UQU. A good, solid passing play to set up a great goal.
And it's so good to see that the goals that are being scored are off the offensive attack. They're not really off too many defensive mistakes, as they're really nice pass plays. We saw both teams this game have scored one really nice pass play involving all three players. So it is really good to see that when you get to this kind of next level, it seems, the offensive attack is really coming out for both teams, as Knight looking to pass actually beats out one defender. Lil Pete with plenty of time, no boost to work with though, but does manage to beat up one defender 50. The other, DZ Bright with a good infield pass. McLaren opting to stay a little bit back there, not willing to commit. Instead going for the nice save into the corner. Knight 50s with Lil Pete. McLaren yet again on it. Really nice touch. What a shot. What an angle from Lil Pete to get them the lead.
That was a bend it like Beckham moment. That's like, that angle isn't real. You can't convince me. That was also like pretty close to the center of the goal as well. It wasn't like it was just made it in on the other side. Like that looked like such a comfortable shot, such an awkward angle. But you're right, I was worried a bit for a little while about UTS whilst they were on the back foot. I was worried about about them only being able to score goals off mispositions from the side of UQU, but both teams showing that they can force plays, they can redirect the angles, the fundamentals in any kind of goal-scoring game, be it like a traditional field sport like your hockeys and your footballs, or anything like a Rocket League. Those fundamentals are so important. I love the fact that we're seeing it expressed time and time again, essentially. And Lil Pete has another big setup, so they can find a teammate. And they do find McLaren, but they didn't quite get the hide on it. DZ's going to be the last defender back. Maybe they got a little bit too excited about this one, but it's okay because DZ at least for now has some comfort. And that was very, very confident defense, but Knight just finds an opening and maybe punished for a little bit of an over-aggressive rotation there from the side of UTS. Catch them getting a little bit too excited.
Exactly right, and DZ Bro actually panicking a little bit too early. Had the time to kind of maintain possession rather than force out a touch. They ended up going into the midfield, and that kind of panic touch led to Knight getting a nice angle there on the goal, and might be a kickoff goal. Flicky actually getting the flip reset, looking to style on the other team, but just didn't have the boost needed, as just coming off kickoff, you've only got that 33, possibly a little bit more to work with. Not quite enough to score such a play like that, but they've tied it up here. 20 seconds to go. McLaren now looking for the edge dribble out of defense. Mr. Marcy with a good clear over to the side. Flicky waiting patiently for it. Needs to get rid of it quick as demos are being chased behind here. Lil Pete unable to get touch on that. DZ though playing it downfield. All players actually caught in this side part of the corner. Might be an open net here. Mr. Marcy trying to go down long, but can't quite get the follow-up. Lil Pete choosing to keep it up. No one is going to get back to that one. Ball will touch the ground, and we've got our first overtime of the night.
That's really exciting. Second overtime. We had another one. It went for about 3 minutes 40, I think it was, in our last series. But yeah, I thought that one was going to go. Didn't quite have the angle. Follow-up from DZ. Again off the crossbar. Lil Pete, can you do it? Nope. Doesn't quite get that. I think that was a bit of a fake as Knight doesn't quite touch it out. The Lil Pete trying to set this one up again. They're holding the midfield. They don't want to go over aggressive. They don't want to get too excited. McLaren tries to just edge dribble it through. But yeah, I think we did have one overtime, but this one is far more exciting as these teams have been throwing everything back and forth, and I have no idea who's going to come out on top of this.
Exactly right. And DZ trying everything that they can to get this one away. Actually, two demos still couldn't put it away, but McLaren can put it away. We talk about the defensive errors that we haven't seen so far in this series, but there is one right there, playing it to your own backboard. No one there to follow it up. And McLaren is just going to take the open net to tie up the series.
And especially on a double commit like that. That is about the most unfortunate defense you can have. And that's the first time we've really seen UTS's defense look even vaguely shaken. Like you made the point earlier. It was a really good point about the fact that UQU have been able to do really, really good things to force goals, to kind of mix up the defense a little bit, from which angle the ball is going to come from. And they eventually put enough pressure on UTS that they do make a defensive mistake. So they're not impervious to panicking, to maybe getting a little bit uncomfortable on those defensive plays, but certainly they look good. So maybe UQU, they can kind of make this play, they can kind of carry the momentum forward. But again, until that overtime, there was really nothing in that game for one side or the other.
Yeah, exactly right. I think the series score right now, 1-1, really represents how this game is being played. Both teams are doing great things to really try and force out these goals here, but another one almost being forced out there. McLaren with a shot opportunity. DZ trying to aim that one, but good save on the goal line by Knight to keep that one alive. And UTS really being put on their back foot here. Lil Pete just playing that one aside. No boost to work with though, so we'll be given possession straight away to Flicky. DZ there to play it downfield. And a quick counter attack there, but not able to score this time around. Both defenses showing how they were in the first two games there, just absolutely on lockdown here. As a nice pass, double commit over for it. Flicky going to play off the backboard. DZ with a good clear down into the corner, and Flicky just left to play it back to Knight, trying to get the counter attack going yet again, and just seems like they're constantly turning this ball, not even giving UQU the time of day to clear the ball.
Yeah, exactly that. And I mean, even when they do eventually find that clearance out, it's not super fast, but they have set up that attack a little bit. Lil Pete and McLaren can play this one together. Got 3 players to manage to get past. A bit of double commit there, and DZ's going to be the one to tag in onto the attack, but just can't pull it out of this corner. There's now 6 players up at the attacking line. Actually, DZ flips the momentum on its head as the ball just gets pulled straight back into the defensive line. So it crosses it, but very awkwardly as the pass just goes off to Knight. Flicky influencing that one fantastically. And now Lil Pete go for a double touch. It's an awkward angle, but sets it up for DZ maybe. But again, it also just hits it way too low.
Yeah, now Knight got plenty of time, and what a 50 by DZ to play that one into the back of the net. Just not even thinking that that is a possibility. But DZ choosing to stay on the play, stay active constantly, and gets rewarded for it with a goal.
This is genuinely intimidating, how aggressive UQU are on the attack and how consistently aggressive they are. It's not just that they're able to put a bit of aggression on, step back. It's the fact that you have to be ready for not just this play, but the next play and the play after that. You have to be so aware of how quickly they can fire one attack after the other, or how quickly they can make these shortcut rotates through their attacking line. And until UTS are able to find some big resounding clear, this is going to be a constant struggle. He's doing a fantastic job holding that midway mark. McLaren just flicking it underneath the goal. Not going to take that coin flip. Just going to confirm it off DZ's high angle shot. And just a fantastic bit of play from UQU, as UTS looking a little bit uncomfortable in this game.
Yeah, all the pressure for UQU now, just making sure to constantly have one player that's attacking the ball, not giving any spaces. Knight going up for a really nice shot and will put that one away. Beautiful side read as they look to get one back.
Yeah, very quick play off that Knight, just getting aggressive, seeing the opportunity right from the word go pretty much. And there was just nothing which the side of UQ could do. You have to be reading that play almost before the actual timer ticks down to be able to react to it, but a great amount of effort for UTS to keep themselves in it, and a good little boost in confidence as well.
Exactly right, and Flicky got off a ceiling shot, couldn't quite get that, but UQU they're playing so well. So as I was saying before, is keeping that aggression, making sure someone is always playing on the ball, keeping that pressure. And right now, UTS just don't have an answer for it, the constant aggression. But one thing I do love from UQU is they're playing the ball around the defense. They're looking for really awkward spots to put the ball on the backboard, try and waterfall it down, play the ball into the corner. And is working out really well here as Knight looking to get it clear, won't be able to. And Flicky now to follow up. Good early challenge by DZ. Might leave an open net yet again. DZ is doing wonders on the offensive end to try and force out these kind of touches.
Yeah, a little bit less disciplined, perhaps, than our previous games, but at the end of the day, it is still coming from high pressure, high forces. The fact that both teams are realizing they have to just commit a lot more to these plays if they want to make any kind of headway, and it's making for very entertaining Rocket League, certainly.
Exactly, and it seems to be panicking UTS. They're really worried about whenever you've got a little bit of time on the ball, it's almost like this is too good to be true. Where am I about to get challenged from? Who's about to be on the ball here? And it's forcing out early flicks. It's forcing out these challenges that UQU are winning, and DZ trying to get another one, playing off the side, getting a great demo, going to clear up some space yet again. DZ right now has almost player of the match for me here, because they are constantly active, constantly thinking about what they can do to better their team's opportunities, and they are getting demo after demo on the play here.
That was a really awkward attack there. Just wanted to highlight that as well. But yeah, like DZ's played fantastically, but it's also kind of like, I don't know, it's not super clear cut, but you're right. DZ has been a very good candidate for player of the match, and now we're getting a lot of space, a lot of, oh no! Again, that was such an awkward crossbar positioning. It technically becomes an own goal. And like I said, it's a very different game than we saw before. McLaren just trying to get, yeah. Oh, wait, that was no goal. Sorry, I'm colorblind as anything. Okay, so when the blue side has an orange car, it messes with me. I'm just gonna say it. McLaren, perfect read off that sidebar. Actually, fantastic play. Don't mind me, it's fine. I'll just sit over here by myself. But yeah, that was really good. That again pulls them back to one goal disparity.
Exactly right, and now Knight trying to capitalize that as well. Lil Pete left with possession here, trying to get a good center. Flicky sending it the other way. DZ up nice and early, committing, having the confidence to go up for these shots, and doing really well with it so far. Knight with a pass over to themselves will 50 it out into the side wall. 40 seconds to go. UTS need to get one on the board if they want to force another OT or have a chance of winning without going on to match point. Knight with a good pass in the midfield. Flicky's up nice and early. Good placement, and they will put that one away. Great infield pass play. 30 seconds to go. Tie game.
Yeah, right, another overtime. I mean, I think UTS put that last overtime back. They just had a very unfortunate mistake not to be able to get it, but again, another good little kind of pass back and forth. Flicky's being in the right position as the player we expect to step up. I think that all of these three players on the side of UTS are very good, but Flicky has been a pretty consistent standout given what they can do. Almost forces a very good play. This time it was Mr. Massey doing that one. Flicky tries to set up another one, and there's a nudge out of the way. Takes one defender out, but doesn't quite take DZ, and DZ is so good in these tight positions. 14 seconds left, and right now it's UQU on the defense. Normally, this is a UTS position to be trying to defend from. DZ managed to beat out one on the 50, and it puts it past Mr. Massey as well, so if they can send it, maybe there's an opportunity, but only 2 seconds left. The second the ball is grounded, that's going to be it, and a great defensive effort from UTS, again, to know exactly what to do. Overtime, part 2 for this series, and boy, is it delivering.
Exactly right, and DZ doing a great job on the defensive end to clear that one out, to give them the opportunity here without relieving too much pressure. And now Knight having an opportunity, but actually going to back out here, is forcing out the double commit, trying to get back on the offensive end. Lil Pete on the ball in the corner. No boost to work with, so we'll go straight into the ceiling. Down, awkward touch. DZ almost coming out of nowhere to put that one away, but Flicky just gets there in time to clear that one away. And now time on the ball. Early challenge. You see that as soon as they get possession, there is someone running headfirst into the play, and is just working out so well for them and causing UTS so much pressure.
Yeah, it's exactly true, and the fact that they didn't quite have that same commitment, I think there was a bit of an indecision about whether they want to pull the trigger on that attack, but at the end of the day, UTS did manage to kind of pull through on it. Now UTS are the ones on attack. Pete, never mind, just says no to that one. Flicky passes it back off to the corner, so we're going to slow down the play at the moment. DZ is the one to get the ball, but again, can't get much momentum. Both players whiff on the 50, and so it's Knight who's going to get it. Has to beat McLaren out in the 1v1, and that would be a very valuable 1v1 if they could have found it, but not quite. Still Mr. Massey with the ball, though. Flicky is there, but 2 defenders try and play out. It's double commitment, though, so an open goal!
Touch!
And just bounced in by Flicky.
I'm pretty sure that was off. I may be wrong, but what a touch there from Flicky to redirect that one in from the angle. Two amazing, almost unheard of bend 'em like Beckham moments, as you said so yourself. And what a beautiful end to that play there. Flicky getting that one in. Great pass from Knight, and they will go to match point. I do want to give credit though. We talk about those demo plays. We talk about the thing that DZ has been doing really well. Mr. Marcy actually started to get a few bumps, a few demos, and really look to start disrupting the defense of UQU this time around.
Wait, I just realized it might not be Mr. Marcy, which is what I've been saying as well. Is it Mr. Massey? Because it's like football? Because we're talking about David Beckham. I'm like, am I really small brain here? Like, is that something we've missed? Because if that's the case, I'm gonna feel like a complete nerd.
I have talked to Mr. Marcy before. He doesn't seem to be too worried about the way I pronounce it, okay. So I'm just gonna hope that that's the correct way. But look, I'm sure if we are, he'll let me know in a DM, or he'll let me know at some time. Wonderful. If I'm saying it wrong.
I've just been following what you've been saying, and I was like, that's obviously right, and I was like, oh no. Oh no, did I miss something obvious? But if we've confirmed it, that's good. You've done the work.
well, you come back to the same argument as a pastor or pasta. It's the same kind of argument here that I'm thinking.
Oh, there it is. Flicky just covers that ball in, and UTS go up 1-0 in this game, as well as being 2-1 in the series. And even though we talked about UQU having so much pressure, having played so well, it is UTS up in game score, up in goals in this game, and that goal advantage. You mentioned very, very smartly, intelligently, that one goal isn't a game winner usually. Very rarely is that first goal going to be the thing which decides the entire game. But hey, it's a very comfortable position to be in, especially if you are on match point right at the moment. UTS still on the attack here. Flicky does get a demo, but they aren't able to get anything else off that. So right at the moment, it's going to be a bit of a slow down position of the game.
Yeah, exactly. We talk about that one goal. It worked really well for UTS in that first game, but second game, they got the first goal and actually found themselves losing that game. So anything really is possible, but it is good to see when UTS have that space on the ball, when they have that kind of possession, as Flicky just absolutely cooks the pinching that one across the entire length of the field. It is really good to see that when they have that confidence and possession, they are able to pull off some amazing solo plays. Flicky doing a really nice double touch to start us off, and Knight now going for the cooks the pinch. If you don't know cooks the pinch, I do use a lot of terminology. Just absolutely pinching the ball between the wall and your car, and it can be sent flying at all different kinds of speeds. So really nice mechanics and really good in-depth abilities coming out from UTS.
Yeah, and pinches in general can be really terrifying. If you play them off the wall, you can get some really weird angles on them as well, and that's really hard to defend against. UTS, though, still on the attack, as Little Pete once again just kind of shuts that down. And McLaren with a tiny touch on what was a... Is that still a 50-50 if you're both running the same direction towards the ball which your teammate has passed? Or is that more like a contest on the... What's the term?
I think in Rocket League it's called a dunk. If you're trying to get a shot on net, or you're trying to stop an offensive play, and they just absolutely 50 over the top of you and it goes into net, more of a dunk play, I'd say, would be the terminology in Rocket League. But a very nice play there, and I
thought dunk was only when it was close to the goal, like within the D, you know.
Really,
this is the thing with Rocket League terminology. It's so subtle as the difference between like one thing and another, you know?
It really is. So there's a 50-50 and there's a dunk. 50-50 is when both players are going at it with kind of equal opportunity. And that can cause a 50-50. If one player has kind of all the momentum going towards the play and just absolutely dunking a play, that's usually, but look, I do agree with you there. I think either one you're fine regardless. It's really good from UQ. That's a few times they've scored by sending a player upfield, hitting that upfield target, and getting a really nice redirect into the back of the net.
Yeah, that's exactly it. This is an awkwardly slow spot to cut back into the game discussion of it. Almost a perfect play from Mr. Massey. See, now I'm just saying Mr. Massey just because that's what comes into my head now. I've outthought myself. I've just put it in my own head. Little Pete's going to go on the attack, of course, 3 defenders there. Knight puts it up high, potentially a dangerous position right there as McLaren tries to set up once again, just slamming plays here. The ball does end up being rested in control of UTS, and it's really easy. You have to slow down the attack a little bit, but does give Flicky a bit of an opportunity. Little Pete doing a great job to dispossess as the ball's going to go straight back to Mr. Marcy. And it's going to be very close on the goal. And yeah, we're seeing a slightly lower energy kind of play coming from both these teams. Less of those big passing plays and more of a just put it on goal and see what we can get.
Yeah, it might be the panic that these players are going to have, getting a little bit nervous. You're up by 1, you're on match point, and UQ 1 away from winning. So time's running out to really kind of make these plays. Errors are going to be really, really detrimental to your team at this point. So it's kind of on the beneficial side to really play patient and try and play really conservative, making sure you're not going for too much, as all it takes is a good infield pass. Lil P putting that one away. They've got the goal lead just over a minute to go to try and send this into game 5.
Yeah, I really love that back and forth, playing it off the wall as well, making sure to guide onto Little P, kind of having almost a little bit of a cover on the play too, and that could be, I'd be very keen for a game 5 here, but we still have over a minute to play, still opportunity for UTS to equalize this one, force to an overtime, possibly even score 2 goals in regulation. It's still technically possible as Flicky put a lot of pressure on right here. Ball's going to almost cross. Little Pete doesn't have anything to say about it. Little Pete helps the cross, pass it off to McLaren. Another very solid play, and it's going to be Knight trying to find a clearance there.
Yeah, and Flicky getting a good play to the side there, looking for the follow-up touch play into the midfield, but no one quite there to follow up. McLaren actually with a quick turn, might have an opportunity here, but can't quite get the power needed on the goal line. I almost wronged myself there, said almost didn't have enough time, but did put that on target really nice around the defense, just not powerful enough. And now we're still at a 1-goal deficit here for the side of UTS, trying to get on the offensive end, but not when DZBra is just going to take their time, forcing around the entire corner there, and a good pinch will give Flicky possession here. They probably last good attack that they're going to have. They need to try and account for this. It's open net. Mr. Marcy not missing that sidewall read, the entire net to shoot at. Flicky doing a really good job of getting a demo, and they will be rewarded. Tie of the game. 10 seconds to go here in game number 4.
Yeah, there it is. It only took them sort of 50 seconds of that last minute they had to play with, and right now they're threatening the overtime. I mean, realistically, if you're UQ, you have way more to lose in this situation because it's still match point. Mr. Marcy puts in a really good position. McLaren with a slow clear that might bite them if they're not able to keep the ball in that defensive position. And here we are in overtime. And overtime for UQU holding on to their undefeated streak. That's what's at stake right here. And if UTS get a good play, that's it. They are just stamping control on this first/second place spot. Tied first. It's probably a better way to put it.
Exactly right. And look, we've had 3 over, so this is the 3rd overtime so far. Both these teams are so well matched, and really anyone can take this. So team, a great pass from Mr. Marcy. Flicky couldn't put that one on target. Knight with a really good follow. We'll put that in very dangerous position. 2 players whiff in front of net. Flicky's up for it. It's on the goal line, but McLaren finally clears that one out. Knight with another shot on net, but it is going to clear to the other side. What an opportunity for UTS, and that's got to be heartbreaking not able to finish it.
Yeah, but it's going to be so stressful as well from the side of UQU, understanding this entire series is on the line right there. And Luke Pete's going to take the 1-1 against Knight. It's a bit of an awkward position. Didn't quite see how that one came through. Just goes for the demo instead and picks the ball up afterwards. Does have a pass. Is going to try and send to the play and try and take a defender. Double commit on the attack, but no one quite there to make a quick pick up off that. McLaren puts the ball up high, and Luke Pete's going to try and bounce to the corner, but doesn't quite get the touch on it. Mr. Massey just running it down the field now, and a dangerous position potentially right here. The UQU, but they hold on a little bit longer. UTS, they've got to structure some sort of attack and pass. He's going to go back into the midfield. I don't think he's quite found anyone. Eventually, Knight picks it up with very little momentum. Yeah, and UQU actually seem to be worrying UTS a lot, making them play a bit further back, making sure to not overcommit for anything. McLaren, opportunity here, good pass down to the midfield. Mr. Marcy's there to find a shot on net. Lil Pete just in the right position there to save that one away. And McLaren with a good clear downfield. DZ there to follow Mr. Marcy. Both players back. They force a pinch, but they also force a double commit in net. A good demo, coming out of net. Might lead an open net. McLaren puts it away. A demo play showing up yet again for this UQU purple side, just completely catching UTS off guard. Yeah, exactly. Flicky was off to the side as well. Mr. Marcy was going for that play, so you need that third player back in the defense in case you can't quite contest the play, which is active at the moment, and that was fantastic awareness from UQU. And given how many opportunities UTS had, that's got to be so stressful. It's going to take a calm voice from them to say, it's okay, guys, we're fine, we're still well in this, we're still a fantastic team, but they dropped a very, very valuable match point, which could have had them taking out the series. And I mean, this is what we want from 2 teams who are undefeated, who are contesting for the top spot in this group, is to have this sort of a close series. So I'm very, very, very excited to see how it goes. Easybrush trying to open up the attack very quickly for UQU, who kind of, in score-wise, have been on the back foot a fair bit, even though they've been more proactive in the plays. Exactly right, and they've had some great plays, and
it seems to have a more wide array of ways that they're able to score, whether it's a nice passing play in field, a really nice demo play, or just solid rotations on the offensive end. Anything is really a possibility for them. If they can hold that up, they might find themselves with a winning game number 5 here, but a good clear seemed to be on the defensive end. A little bit too much here, would want to get a clear. Good pass by Mr. Marcy, but a long bomb by Lil Pete, as powerful as you possibly can, into the top right corner.
Yeah, it was a big, strong 120k kilometer an hour shot. Lil Pete finding all the momentum they can on that. And poor Knights flying across the field being like, what? How am I supposed to get that? So a quick open score by UQU. Pretty comfortable position for them to be in, but they need to kind of keep building, keep playing up that lead. And Flicky almost just wins it, but McLaren comes out of the corner and finds his save. But yeah, exactly. This is UQU getting control of this game, and UTS. So much pressure on them now because they gave up that match point. They had it in overtime, and now they need to make sure they're finding something to answer this first goal.
Yeah, I really want to see more aggression come out from UTS, sorry, but that being said, it seems like going long is the flavor of this game, as UQ doing a really good job at noticing when they've pushed too far up, going for the long bomb, getting yet another goal in this game, and UTS just unable to capitalize here. It seems like their second player just isn't trusting in the play. They're very slow to get to those backboard reads, those infield passes. They just need to start playing more confidently and more upfield if they want to take this series.
Yeah. That's exactly it, and I mean they've managed to put the pressure on from the side of UQU. They've kind of got a couple of fortunate goals, but I really just don't favor. I just really don't. I'm not super jealous of UTS. The position they're in right now is that ball almost waterfalls down, just getting blocked off by Knight. He's going to try and take a 1v2 here. Massey tries to get the knock. In fact, does manage to get it, but. Yeah, it doesn't, like, it didn't have the speed and the timing. It's kind of like, Marcy was just like, I'll be there in a sec, don't worry. And at that time, they'd been dispossessed. But a good attempt at least, something else they're trying to fire. A quick passing play to Marcy, but picked up well by Lil Pete, who isn't able to find another cross-field goal that time.
Yeah, I really think the way that Mr. Marcy's trying to play here, trying to play a little bit more physical, kind of what I would call DZ Bra-esque in this series, looking to try and be that factor, really be active on the play at all times. So if Mr. Marcy can look to play a few of those demos and really look to open up the field for their team, will be very well, as really good saves from Flicky and DZ coming out on both ends of the field here. Knight with a good beat out in midfield. Lil Pete shot on target. Flicky forced to make a save, but actually ball's in a very awkward position. Flicky with a good follow-up. Mr. Marcy there to play it downtown here, as McLaren will get an easy save. Knight going for the side read here, looking to put this one on target. Just can't get the read. Those are minimal space for error here, but McLaren is doing it all, really beating out the defense there. 3 goals here, and something has clicked for UQ Purple.
Oh yeah, absolutely. And it wasn't a lot, like, there wasn't a lot of space in that goal. There wasn't a huge amount of room to kind of score it, but at the end of the day, it does find the net. 2 minutes is not a long time for UTS to be able to pull these 3 goals back, and UQU, they find themselves kind of outlasting as well as outplaying in this series, and huge credit to them and being able to stay resilient and not kind of give it up, or not try and sort of give up this lead. Mr. Marcy has a good opportunity. Knight gets passed back to, and Mr. Marcy just helps it through, makes sure there are no more defenders in UTS. Okay, they found 1 in 17 seconds. That's pretty good, but still a bit of a hill to climb right here. UQ, they can't get too overcocky now. They've managed to hold on for so long throughout this series that if they start getting overconfident, start getting cocky, this is an absolute death trap.
Exactly right, and UTS, they've got that spark. They got the first one. They know it's possible to score on this UQ Purple side, so that might be the fuel that they need to try and start this counter-attack, but it's just not going to be it with a really good speedy play coming out. Good clear. DZ now playing off the backboard, looking for the double touch. Knight able to get the clear on that. Down to Flicky. Really a nice pass play, but Lil Pete seems to be the one really composing the team here, rotating a little bit deeper on the field, and just whenever you beat out the 2 first defenders here on UQ Purple, the 3rd one is just there to clear it down. UTS need to do something extremely special if they want to look to get yet another one on the board, and UQ really making them work for it as another shot opportunity, and McLaren 2 goals on the board already and just bullying their way through the defense.
Yeah, it's a very good way of putting it, actually. That's exactly what they're doing. They're just getting straight in the face, smothering it across the goal and giving very little leeway for UTS. And I think the fact that UQU are holding up that aggression, they've almost found their own second wind in spite of being up in the series. Like, they're starting to play with the same composure they played in that those first couple of games, and that's just might be a bit too much for UTS right here. Flicky does manage to get that nose touch, pass out wide, manages to get it past the defenders, but doesn't have a good position on the ball. Has to find someone to pass to, but they're all in the same sort of position as Flicky. Again, gets it back, managed to take out a couple of defenders. Physicality from this UQU side is just going to stop any of that attack coming through in any greater sense.
Exactly right. Knight just going to go with a long bomb downfield. Couldn't find the angle, a tough shot. And yet again, another shot on target. Not able to find its way into the back of the net. And time is running out. It's still possible, but you need to start getting one here with a good pinch onto the backboard. An actual miss, on the net there. Knight couldn't put that one away. Flicky trying all that they can to just flick that one in net, but can't. And with that, time is winding down. They are running out here as Mr. Marcy tries yet again, but just couldn't put that one on target. Just couldn't get the power either. And 15 seconds to go. The comeback here from UQ Purple, down by a series, finding their way back in this this game to remain the undefeated team, and McLaren getting another one on the board just to top it off.
Yeah, one of the undefeated teams in this group, one of the last two remaining, yeah, that's a big advantage right here. I feel like I almost want there to be like a rematch between these two teams because it was such an exciting series, such a close one as well, and maybe a few things going differently. A couple of weeks of practice in UTS really could actually come back in this, so maybe we see this being two of the top three teams in the group. I think that makes sense to me, realistically, looking at how the team's going to line up. So maybe we see some sort of best of in the finals. It might be a lower bracket or something like that, because it's hard to get two teams playing against each other if they came from the same group, but I hope so. I hope the bracket will find some way of making that happen. Such a fantastic series, and huge credit for UQU for coming out on top of it. Exactly
right. It's such a good takeaway as they're both able to go so well toe-to-toe. I think, as I said, the last game, bit of a blowout there for UQU, but doesn't really do the series justice. We had 3 overtimes, amazingly close matches, and I really think UTS are going to want that rematch. They're going to want to prove that you got us on a bad day, you got us lucky. They want to make that comeback. But that being said, the regular season is really where it stands, and that win is going to be huge for UQU moving forward, and such a great way to finish off today's games. Just to recap, we had UQU Black going up against UNSW. UNSW taking the clean sweep. Then we went over to UON Platinum Noms taking the win, I believe, against University of Sydney Milk Guzzlers. I spaced out for a second there, but I'm pretty sure Platinum Noms did get that win. And then UQ Purple capping off the Game 5 win against the UTS Eshays.
Yeah, exactly. And a fantastic effort from all of the winning teams. And again, that last game, I still can't get over it. Such a solid fight back and forth. But yeah, at the end of the day, those are the games for today. We've got so many more streams coming up from various games and things like that. So hopefully you're tuning in to some of those as well.
Exactly right. There's many of other sports. We've got the high school league on a Saturday, as well as Rainbow Six Siege. All the above, all amazing scenes to take part in for AEL University League. That being said, that is all from us today. We do want to give one last shout out to the sponsors that make this whole thing possible: Chatime, Indomie Instant Ready Noodles, AOC Monitors, and Rig Headsets. That is all from us today, and we'll see you all next time.